Last game when Arkansas faces Duke. We'll have live coverage for you right here of both games. And Sunday, our coverage continues with the Elite Eight matchups beginning at 1 o'clock. It's all right here on your home for March Madness, the Final Four, and National Championship. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Many think about helping the homeless when it's cold outside. But the reality is that often the number of homeless folks on our streets actually increases as the weather warms up. Sometimes the greatest time of need is when you'd least expect it. At City Union Mission, we're open year-round to serve and support our homeless neighbors. Would you join us in meeting their physical and spiritual needs with the hope of Jesus Christ? Please consider making a life-changing donation today at cityunionmission.org. Hope lives here.
Serving
All right, boys,
overseas
we'll be good to go
is
top
just
the
the
hour.
beginning. We might be home from war,
Rock and roll.
but our mission continues in communities all across the country. It's why we're out there in times of peace and crisis, providing meals to the hungry and supplies to the sick. It's why we're giving strength to those who are too weak and bringing resources to those without them. Service doesn't stop when we're done serving. It's what makes us the VFW. Learn more at vfw.org.
Sports Talk powered by fans. Sports Radio 810 WHB Kansas City. The power of sports.
America's largest all-sports radio station presents the #1 motorsports show for 2 decades. Track Talk, brought to you by Lucas Oil Products. Here are the Racing Boys, Scott Traylor and Kirk Elliott.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Track Talk here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Today's show is brought to you by Lucas Oil Products. It works. And we got a lot going on today, folks. As you know, we've been playing a lot of sound from our weekly show that we do Monday through Friday, mostly motorsports, and we're going to do that again today. We've got sound bites from Wayne Johnson, Trent Owens, Cup Crew Chief Trent Owens, Seth Bergman, Trenton Berry. We'll talk about USMTS down at Humboldt, and Dan Robinson over at XR. He's working down there in Bristol this weekend, so we got a lot to talk about in the show. We got a lot of news to talk about. Let's start off by talking about who won last night with the Lucas Oil ASCS National Sprint Car Tour down in Little Rock, Arkansas. Derek Hagar picked up the win. Kirk, Derek Hagar picked up his first ASCS National Tour win back in 2020 down at Little Rock. This is his second career National Tour win, and anytime you're at Little Rock, you've always got to take Derek Hagar serious.
Yeah, he knows that track like the back of his hand, but he had to work to get that win last night. Landon Britt led the majority of that race until later. Hagar took advantage of some restarts to get up into position where he was able to finally take the lead.
Hagar just wore down Britt.
Yeah.
That's what he did.
I think about 7 laps to go. He finally got around him on the outside.
Yeah, he just kind of wore him down, and Landon Britt did a fantastic job in the 10 car. But you know what else Landon Britt did is he held off Ryan Timms.
Yeah.
And Ryan Timms, who started on the pole, ended up running third. You know, I think a lot of people were thinking that Ryan Timms was going to just go right in there and win that race starting on the pole, but Derek Hagar had more to say about that. And you know what was interesting last night? To see Aaron Reitzel down there running last night.
How about that?
Yeah.
He ended up in 4th place.
Austin, isn't that kind of weird? We're so used to seeing Aaron Reitzel run 410 stuff, but we're starting to see him dip back in doing a little 360 racing now and again. Do you think that's because of the TRD deal? Do you think they got a TRD 360 in that, and they want to do a little R&R with that motor?
I believe so. I mean, if you're going to try and, break into the sprint car scene, might as well break in, with 360s and 410s. But you also see, the team changed Ridge and Son, at the end of last year.
Right.
And now he's not locked in, with Boffman, and where he just has to run 410s only. Now he can go kind of do whatever he wants to.
Right.
And, chase the money kind of like what Wayne Johnson's doing. And that's why, we saw him down there at Little Rock last night.
Right, for sure.
I didn't see the beginning of the show last night. What happened to Blake Hahn? He had to come out of the B main. He started 17th.
He had to win the B to get into the A, and where did he end up running?
He ended up in
he was
12th place. 12th.
Yeah. Not an exceptional night for Blake Hahn. I don't know what was going on last night, but at some point, Blake Hahn put a post up on Facebook. What did it say, Austin?
Something about an event or a subject being a joke.
It's a joke.
Yes.
That's what he said, didn't he?
Yes.
But we're not sure what that meant.
There's no context of who it's directed to, what it's about, or why he said it.
But he was obviously ticked off about something.
Yes.
He's not normally one to
He is
spout off
not
like that.
normally a guy that get on social media and do something like that.
No, so something going on there. I didn't get to see the entire event last night. I had to watch the replay this morning because I went to bed before they ran the A-Main. They ran micros down there last night, too.
Is that because you're old, Kirk?
Well, we had to get up early this morning.
Well, I stayed up. Now, listen, I stayed up to watch that race last night. And about halfway through that feature, something happened to their camera. Anybody else have that problem last night? Because I sure did. About halfway through, the camera just went gray. And I have no idea.
Boy, that can happen. It's
I'm not going to bag on anybody for that because, as you well know, Kirk, we've been through that many a times.
Yeah, so we're not complaining.
We're not going to make fun of anybody that has internet problems when they're doing live broadcasts.
It's just not yours, and I stress about it this morning. That's all.
No, we didn't
That's
have
a big difference about
we
that.
We didn't grow any gray hairs last night worrying about it, right?
Yeah.
But it's always sad because now it appears that they've put the race back up and maybe they've taken it off an SD card because there's no graphics on there, right?
Right. The replay I watched this morning on Flow was clean.
But there's no graphics.
No graphics.
Yeah.
It was a raw feed. So that tells me that they posted
they had an
recording
issue at
of
some
it
point
after the fact. So how about that Outlaws race last night where the top three got taken out?
Unbelievable.
Out in Bakersfield, California last night, I did see that race. Big win for Gio Scelzi, but he inherited a bad situation from Sheldon Hodenshield. He got up against the wall, and Spencer Baston had nowhere to go, and neither did David Gravel. And then Rico Abreu, who was running third at the time, also got caught.
The top three cars got taken out by a lap car that was up against the fence.
Yeah.
Not good.
On a bull ring like Bakersfield, that
but,
you don't have any room to react. You don't have any time to react.
It's just like Gio said last night in his post-race interview. Hey, man, I'd rather be lucky than good any day.
You'll take him any way
you can get him. And but it was still a pretty damn good race though, Kirk, because that Corey Day, that 16-year-old driver driving that 14 car, he started 6th, and he ended up running 2nd. He led a good portion. Well, he didn't lead. He led a portion of that race.
He led one lap. He was the leader of one lap, and then Gio was able to get back by him. But Gio had to fight like heck to fend him off.
Yeah, because they said that he was the youngest driver to ever lead a lap. Right. And if Corey Day wins last night, the youngest driver to ever win a World of Outlaw race is Giovanni Scelzi.
Yeah.
And if Corey Day wins last night, he would have knocked Gio Scelzi off of the youngest driver to ever win a World of Outlaw race. What do you think about that, Austin? That Corey Day, that guy's a shoe, isn't he, bud?
He is, and he's in Jason Myers' car, so you put a little bit of talent together with Jason Myers, it's going to be a good combination. And he's been really fast on the California swing, and he's finally caught an opportunity where he can kind of show his speed and show what he has.
I mean, he looked fast all night long.
Yeah, even though he didn't win, a second-place finish when you hold off the likes of Brad Sweet, Carson Macedo, James McFadden, who came from 22nd to 5th, and Donnie Schatz. That's a hell of a run. I don't care if you didn't win.
Well, he was really working the bottom. Did you watch any of that race last night, Austin? You didn't, did you?
I didn't.
No. But he was working the bottom, and it looked like, Gio was just ripping the top, and it looked like Corey Day might have a chance to get around him on the bottom, but it just didn't work out for him. Eventually, Gio just kind of gapped him a little bit and ended up winning that race by, I don't know what the margin was. I'm not sure exactly what the margin was, but it was pretty good, pretty good bit of distance between the two of them. Easy for me to say.
Outlaws are putting on some good racing so far this year. Just about every night out is a is a great race.
Would you have thought coming into Speed Weeks in Volusia that Brad Sweet would be into March, almost April, without a win?
No.
The last time Brad Sweet won a race was last Labor Day weekend at Skagit Speedway. You got to go back to Labor Day weekend, the last time Brad Sweet won a race.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Another a big win last night was Buddy Kofoid. He picked up the Power I Midget win at I-44, right? Last night?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That's part of the Turnpike Challenge.
Enjoy Buddy while you have him, because he's not going to be around much longer. He's going to be down there in North Carolina making a living, and so you better enjoy Buddy while you have him.
He held off Christopher Bell, who won the night before at Port City Raceway. Matter of fact, at Port City, he swept both the midgets and the micros. And last night, Bell won again in the micro class, but Buddy Kofoid finished him off in the feature event of the Power I A-Main last night. So Bell now be heading down Dakota, focusing on his Cup weekend.
Yeah, for sure. Chris Madden picked up the $50,000 to win late model race last night at Bristol, Kirk.
Yeah, that's.
Did you watch any of that?
I did not. We had some of the highlights up here. Those of you watching on Racing Boys and Facebook and Twitter and everywhere else we're streaming, YouTube. Madden had the ability and the luxury of starting on the pole position of that race, and it paid off for Smokey Madden for a big $50,000 payday at on the Bristol Dirt. I did not get to see that live last night, but it looked like it was fast racetrack, as you'd expect at Bristol.
Yeah, no doubt. $50K though, man, that's a lot of money. It's a ton of money.
So this is just kind of the first of a month-long barrage of races on the dirt at Bristol Motor Speedway. Of course, the Cup Series is not there until the 17th of April. That's when they're going to run the Food City 500 on the dirt at Bristol. But, the Outlaws and other late model racing going to be racing on that track. But they had some entry-level classes going on most of the week down there at Bristol.
Yeah. Did we ever get a hold of Ryan so we could talk? All right.
So we're going
last night, King of America, Kirk. What happened down there?
I tuned in last night after the ball games last night, and they were still running heat races. This was like about 11:30 or so, and that track, of course, they've had a ton of rain down there to Humboldt. I mean, you got to feel for
Kirk, just
for
say
these guys to try to.
Kirk, just
it
say
was rough.
That track was
Baja 500.
Oh my God, it was rough.
But I'm going to cut these guys some slack down there because it was solid rain for 4 days down there, and the sun only came out yesterday. So it was a tough situation. The car count was enormous down at Humboldt for all the classes. They're running the Battle of the Bull Ring that got snowed out here a couple of weeks ago as part of this. So they had a ton of race cars down there. They got through all the heat races. And I thought they made a pretty sound decision by cutting it off after those heat races last night. Hey, listen, let's go to work on this racetrack. They had originally scheduled Thursday night's rain out for 2 o'clock this afternoon. And they said, all right, hold on. We got to get to work on this racetrack. Let's put one good show together, start at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We'll come back, run the A-Mains that we didn't run last night at 4 o'clock, and then we'll run the big King of America show and call it a day. I think that was a smart decision when you looked at that racetrack. It just, they just didn't have the ability to get out and work that track. Too much rain, too much wet weather this week. That's all there is to it.
Well, Johnny Allen, he's going to put his best foot forward, try to make that place better.
Sure. Yeah.
You know that.
They're working on it right now, I'm sure.
No doubt about it.
I don't know how much better they can get it. It's really hard. They just need sunshine and a lot of dry weather to get that thing aired out and smoothed out.
Right.
I wish them the best. But it's going to be a tough challenge.
I want to say hi to David, who is listening in from New Zealand, who just chimed in here on the Facebook chat room. Let's go to Ryan and see what he had to say about last night. Ryan, that racetrack was a little rugged last night, wasn't it, bud?
Character.
A
lot of character.
No, it was rough.
It was beyond character. It was kind of it was kind of interesting watching the whole track, because during the qualifying for the A-mods, it looked like for some reason it was going to seal over. And I'm, standing behind a couple of the drivers, and they're looking at it going, well, that's blowing off and all that. And during the street stocks, you could see if you stayed down really low and got the car to rotate in the corners, you were fine. You got anywhere past that, you got into the corner a little bit fast, or a little bit too deep, it would push up on you, and then you started getting into the loose stuff and the ripples and the, not loose stuff, but the real heavy moisture that started digging. So they ran the street stocks, they ran the A-mods. After that, they reworked the track, and they were running 8 heats of the B-mods. After the 8 heats of the B-mods, they reworked it again. And I'm kind of watching it going, man, this thing looks like it's just getting deeper or, getting worse. And the only thing I can think of is that every time they worked it, they went a little bit deeper into the dirt where there was a lot more moisture going on.
And it just got worse.
It just got worse. And I'm talking to one guy, and I think it was before the second set of heats for the B-mods came in, and I'm going, man, if this gets any worse, they're just going to have to call this thing and run the rest tomorrow. And he looks at me going, yeah, he goes, but you're already so deep into it, what are you going to do? Well, by the time word got around and I had ran into John Allen and everything, they had determined that they're going to run the A feature for the street stock and the A feature with added money. They're going to run a extra heat for the B mods, take the best 2 out of 3, and then they're going to run their King of the Hill and Battle of the Bull Ring, or King of America and Battle of the Bull Ring show tonight, which it's the only thing they could do.
Well, Johnny Allen, he's been around this game a long time. He's going to give it his best effort to make sure that track is going to be as best as it can tonight. But you know how it is, man. Once you get that kind of wave in a racetrack, it's hard to get it out,
It's almost impossible.
Yeah.
I was talking to a few people, and I was surprised Wednesday they didn't call it. And on Facebook they had a post that they were rolling the track in, and trucks were already coming in. Well, they didn't get any cars on the track on Thursday because it just wasn't working, and they thought, well, if we work it all day Friday and try to get something going, we're going to be okay.
Yeah.
And it wasn't bad for a little bit, but like you said, it just, the more you got in, they were sheep-footing it, they were scaling it, they were, trying to fill in a few spots and roll that in. But like Kirk said, you've got that much rain over 4 days.
Right.
You have basically no sun, no wind, nothing to help dry it. No matter how much you till it, mud's going to stay mud.
Yeah, for sure. How was the crowd last night down there? Was it slim?
I'm going to say 50 to 60%.
Oh, that's not bad.
I think the weather, I think the people that came out just wanted to get out.
Yeah.
Because there just wasn't a whole lot going on. Crowd was pretty good. 180 some cars in the field or in the pits. You knew it was going to be a good turnout. I didn't talk to a whole lot of people about what they thought was going to happen.
Yeah.
A lot of drivers weren't complaining either. They knew what was going to happen, and the best decision was made to save a lot of equipment. And I'll to that fact, I'm surprised about there was only one, maybe 2 incidents out of the whole deal that involved, that I can remember, 2 cars. The rest of them were like maybe flat tires or something.
Oh.
And I will say the track was rough enough at times where it was shaking panels loose.
Mm.
Rivets were not holding.
Yeah, no, I saw some of that last night too. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, Ryan, we really appreciate you taking the time to check in with us down there. On Monday, we want you to check in with us if you can during your job. check in with us on Monday during Mostly Motorsports so we can get a final report from you from down there this weekend. Would that be okay?
Yeah. Yep, we can do that. It's just, kind of like what you were saying before. One guy said, Mother Nature's going to deal you the hand that you have to play with, and you make the best of it.
No doubt.
And there was no lack of effort to try to do the best that they could. Pits open at 2, gates open at 3, races start at 4 for the 2 A mains, and then the appeal draw for the 3rd B mod heats. Take the best 2 out of 3 on the B mods, and then they run the regular show tonight.
Well, it's going to be a good day today. They got more sunshine out there today, help dry it out, so it'll be better tonight than it was last night for sure.
Ryan, it sounds like you're catching a cold, bud.
I'm on the backside. This is when everything's good. I feel great, but I sound like I'm getting something now. I'm good.
All right. Well, listen, man, we appreciate everything you do for us here at Racing Boys. It's Ryan Ragland. He'll be checking in with us on Monday on Mostly Motorsports. Thanks again, my friend. We appreciate you.
Anytime, guys. Thanks a bunch.
Good job, Ryan.
There's Ryan Ragland. He always takes care of us, travels around, and does some reporting for us. Does a good job with that.
Yeah, I mean, this time of the year, you just never know what you're going to get weather-wise. I mean, if the weather is beautiful, like a lot of times it is in March, we've already seen some great days in March.
Yeah.
It turns into a monster event because people are itching to get outside and whatever, but that's the chance you take scheduling big events this time of the year.
Hey, I want to give a shout-out to Paul, who's listening to our show in Laramie, Wyoming. And also want to give a shout-out to Kenny. He says they're listening from St. Simons Island, Georgia, tuning in this morning on the show. So we want to thank everybody. Always let us know where you're listening from. Let me tell you this. One thing about Mostly Motorsports, what are we got, about 42 states now we're up to? And we're in about 9 different countries. And,
couple continents.
And we've had about 3,200 downloads so far, right? That's about where we're at on downloads. So things are going pretty good. It's Monday through Friday. It starts at 12 noon Central Time. You can watch it right here on Racing Boys Facebook page, Twitter account, YouTube, or racingboys.com. We pull it down as soon as the show's over. Then you have to go back and download it if you want to listen to it. You can find that wherever you find your favorite podcast. And what we're going to go over and explain to you a little bit later in the show how you go about getting notified when we go live on the air. So we're going to take a break. When we come back, it's more of Track Talk. It's all brought to you by Lucas Oil Products. It's here on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Track Talk. As your power steering pump ages, seal leaks may occur, causing the power steering system to lose fluid. Your power steering system may also develop an annoying squeal, and the steering may become more difficult to handle. By using Lucas Power Steering Stop Leak, you will stop the seal leaks, reduce slack in rack and pinion, eliminate the squeals and hard spots in your power steering system. It is guaranteed to stop seal leaks or your money back. Lucas Power Steering Stop Leak. It works.
Here are KU coach Bill Self and Dan Chandler of the Salty Iguana Mexican Restaurant.
Coach, I know you love the family fun and great values at the Salty Iguana. What about the food?
Spank, you know we can both put down some iguana dip. I like the Prairie Village burrito, and as many as I bought from you, it ought to be called the Bill Self burrito.
Yeah, I'm sure you want to walk around the Big 12 being called Burrito Bill.
No worse than being called Spank. Spank.
Enjoy the best happy hour in town from 3 to 6 p.m. weekdays at the Salty Iguana. And check out the Salty Iguana website, saltyiguana.com.
Hey, folks, Jerry and Alec, Continental Siding.
Jerry, how are we getting siding materials when some companies can't?
We don't buy our materials from overseas. We make it ourselves right here in Missouri. In fact, we bought so much raw material last year, we're getting rebates this year.
To thank you for supporting local manufacturing, we're passing our rebates to you. There's big discounts now, but they won't last long. Click
or call now.
Go to continentalsiding.com.
Hey, Kansas City, let's talk about garage floors, patios, pool decks, or any concrete surface. My friends at Polymagic just installed a new polyurea floor coating in my garage, and oh boy, what a difference! It is beautiful and 10 times more durable than epoxy. Their professional crew was in and out the same day, leaving me with a revitalized garage. Call my friends at Polymagic and ask for the SSJ special, 816-765-4800, or online at polymagic.net.
As Kansas City weather shifts to rain, along with some sun and more rain, I bet you're thinking about your roof. Greg Gurley here for Buck Roofing. If you've been putting off repair or replacement, use the company I recommend, Buck Roofing. For trusted residential and commercial roof repair or replacement, gutters too, in Kansas City, and now in my favorite town, Lawrence, Kansas. It's Buck Roofing, online at rbuckroofing.com. Sleep well knowing Buck fix the roof over your head.
Imagine every day a sport court game day.
60.
Imagine looking outside your kitchen window. Today's game is being played in your backyard. You know all the players' names, stats, and history. You've created the ultimate backyard with a sport court game court. And even though the visiting team comes from 3 blocks away, all the players have a home court advantage. Call Sport Court today and turn your imagination into reality. 913-963-7529 or visit sportcourt.com.
Today, the madness continues on Sports Radio 810 WHB with 2 teams punching their tickets for the Final Four. First up at 5 o'clock, Houston faces Jay Wright and the Villanova Wildcats. Then at 7:45, it could be Coach K's last game when Arkansas faces Duke. We'll have live coverage for you right here of both games. And Sunday, our coverage continues with the Elite 8 matchups beginning at 1 o'clock. It's all right here on your home for March Madness, the Final Four, and National Championship. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Welcome back. It's Track Talk here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Kirk and I have been on this radio station for nearly 23 years together. You believe that, buddy?
That's amazing.
June, it'll be 23 years. You believe that?
Happy to be alive.
You're just happy to be alive. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Well,
it's all good.
You might not be so happy after I read this one little. Kenny, let me just say what it says here. Let me find the one where it was at. There was somebody kind of dogging on you a little bit, Kurt.
Okay.
Kind of cheesy to call the other classes at Bristol entry level. There are some very good racers in those classes that are there because that's what they can afford. Show a little respect, Kirk. That's what it says.
Okay. Sorry.
Tail between his legs.
He doesn't even know how to say he's sorry, does he? He doesn't know how to say he's sorry at all. I just can't believe it, Kurt. Is that how you do it? Sorry.
Well, I'm looking down through the results of the hobby stock division last night.
Kirk, that's all those guys can afford.
Eric Stanton, the winner. I've not heard of him. Let's see.
Just because you haven't heard of them doesn't mean that they're not good race car drivers.
He's a USRA Nationals hobby stock champion.
Did you hear that, Kirk? He's a USRA National Hobby Stock champion.
Okay, well, congratulations.
See, you should do your homework.
Dalton Murty, the stock car winner last night.
Do you know who he is, Austin?
He's an IMCA guy.
Is he?
McGuire DeJong winning the sports mod division.
I grew up racing go-karts with him.
Was he any good?
Very good.
Very good. Why is he down there driving sheet metal?
They're close friends with Zach Vanderbeek.
Oh, so they are.
And how about Lawrence O'Connor winning the modified division last night? Have you heard of him?
No, but good job, Lawrence.
All right.
I'm just saying.
I've heard of Smokey Madden, though.
Right. Don't be so hard on the entry level guys, Kurt.
I just recognized.
Why you got to be such an ass?
I just recognized all the winners of the other classes last night. Come on.
We're just messing with you.
It's all good.
All right. Well, listen, earlier this week on Mostly Motorsports, I had a chance to talk to Wayne Johnson. Now, I want to lead into this interview. And the reason I want to talk about it is that in 2010, we were at Grays Harbor Raceway, and Wayne Johnson hopped a wheel of Shane Stewart. the torque tube got a hold of his leg, and Wayne Johnson nearly lost his leg. And we talked in great detail about the Steve King Foundation and what that foundation did for him when he was in his time of need, because there was a time that we weren't even sure that Wayne was going to be able to keep his leg after this accident. He didn't know what he was going to do. He didn't know if he was going to ever drive a race car again. This is my conversation with Wayne Johnson about the Steve King Foundation and that accident that he had up at Grays Harbor in 2010. I want to talk a little bit about it today. What year was it when you got, was it 2010 when you got hurt up at Grays Harbor?
Yeah, it was 2010, yep.
It was 2010. I was there. If my memory serves me correct, you wheel hop Shane Stewart. Is that right?
Yep.
Yep. And listen, that was a tough time in your life right then. I want to go back because, to be honest with you, you weren't sure that you were ever going to drive a race car again. You weren't even sure if you were going to be able to keep your leg at that time. And I know our good friends over at the Steve King Foundation stepped in and helped you a little bit. I want to talk about the Steve King Foundation and what they meant to you when you were going through that tough time with your leg.
Well, I'll tell you right now, they do a great job, and they were actually special to me. I'm shocked. I still, to this day, do not know how it worked out, but I was hurt on Saturday.
Yep.
And Sunday morning, there was I don't remember. Listen, I was on a lot of medication at that point, but
yeah.
I can't remember if it was $1,000 cash. I'm pretty sure it was $1,000 cash showed up at the hospital, and it was for my wife and my daughter for incidentals for being there for food or whatever they needed.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you tell me how those guys did that, but it was pretty amazing. And not just the financial reasons, but, they just really look after their racers. And anytime they need me for anything, I'm right there for them. And they, there's donations. And if they ever need me for anything, all they got to do is pick up the phone. But for the most part, it's just an awesome group that they're just taking care of the injured drivers because,
yeah.
A lot of us, or I shouldn't say a lot of us, but there's a lot of race car drivers that don't have any income other than racing, or they don't have insurance that covers it or whatever. But they're awesome. I don't even know how else to say it other than they are great people and they do a lot for our sport for the injured drivers.
Didn't they help your wife and your child fly to the Pacific Northwest as well, if I'm not mistaken?
No, I don't think they helped with any of that because, like I say, they left in the middle of the night. I was hurt at 10 o'clock, and they were on a flight like 4 o'clock in the morning. I don't think there was ever any of that, but they definitely stepped up and helped with lots of things. I don't know the numbers, but they sent us money all the time, and heck, even when I got back in the car, probably too early, but went back to race, and a check showed up after I'd already ran a race. I think I ran a race at Devil's Bowl, and then the next week I got a check from them, and I didn't feel right, so I sent it back, and they were like, no, that's yours. I'm like, no, I'm already back to work. I don't need it anymore.
Right.
But
yeah,
no, they're great people, and I can't say enough about them. And there's lots of behind the scenes that nobody knows there, but Danette, I can't remember. I think her name
Danette. Yeah,
Danette, and Danette does a great job, and she works her butt off. And I know there's a lot more people than just Danette, but they do a great job. And I tell you, Steve was a great racer, and he was, and that's her brother. And I think they're doing it all for a great cause.
How well did you know Steve?
I knew Steve pretty well. Raced quite a bit with him, and had some pretty fun times, away from the races with him, and just was a great dude. Just gone way too soon.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Talk about that after your accident. I just want your mindset. How that had to be kind of depressing for you to not know exactly what your future was in racing. Was that a depressing time for you during that time?
Oh, definitely. It was depressing because not only did I think my career was over, but I didn't know what I was going to do next for work, or I didn't know if I was going to be able to walk again.
Right.
So, there was a lot of things, that went through my mind, and there was definitely some depression. And the first thing that they do at the hospital is give you pain medicine to make you really don't even know who you are. And it was just a challenging time for sure. And we just, the good Lord looked after me and got me past that time in my life, and I don't look back at it. I can tell you that.
Was there ever a time when the doctors told you that you might lose your leg? Was that ever discussed?
Yeah, it was. The first day after surgery, it was touch and go, and my foot was still black as all get out, and they didn't know if it was going to take, and it was going to actually work. But after 3 or 4 days, it started to get color back, and the doctor was pretty sure that we were in good shape, and then just accelerated after that. And I worked really hard at trying to get it strong and get it back to flexibility. And, I still work on it to this day. We're 12 years later, and I still don't have the flexibility that I had beforehand, but I'm also able to walk and do a lot of things that I wasn't sure I was going to get to do.
Yeah. Well, that had to be a scary time in life, especially for a person that's a professional race car driver, not knowing exactly what their future is going to be. I was there. That was a terrible weekend, really, to be honest with you. We lost Travis Perez that weekend, and we all know about the accident off the racetrack that him and Travis had, and it was just a horrible weekend that weekend, wasn't it?
Yeah, it definitely was. I don't know what was in the air out there, if it was a full moon or what, but, and then midget guy was actually hurt, the race before me.
Oh, that's right.
So
yeah.
It was pretty crazy time, but I try not to think about it too much.
Yeah, but the great thing about it, when you came back to Grays Harbor the next year, you picked up the victory. Well, what was that?
Yeah.
What was that sensation like, coming back to the track where you nearly lost your leg and pick up the win? What was that like?
Well, I just, I wanted to go back there because I wanted to basically, I guess I could say it because I think we're on the internet, but I wanted to prove myself and beat that bitch that was trying to beat me. And I was just really super focused to get back there and win at that racetrack and basically show that, that it wasn't going to take my career away from me.
All right, and there you have it. That's Mostly Motorsports, Wayne Johnson, episode 51. If you want to go back and take a listen to the entire interview with Wayne Johnson, what is that interview? Probably about 20 minutes long, probably?
About 20, 25.
And we just listened to about 6 or 7 minutes of it, right?
That was a good part that you guys get to hear about, but there's also, other topics that are also exciting in there as well.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, well, what we need to do, what did you think of that?
Yeah, Wayne's always fun to listen. There's no doubt about that. He was down there at Little Rock last night, right?
What are you doing over there? Are you over there doing your...
Wayne Johnson finished in 5th place last night down at Little Rock.
Yeah. Wayne says that he's not going to run for points. I'm still not sold that he might...
No, I think he's being honest about that. I don't think...
Listen, I know Wayne. I've known Wayne a long time. If he thinks he's got a shot at winning that $50,000 at the end of the year, he might just do it. And he wants to win races, too, by the way.
Well, we'll see what happens when the Outlaws come back to the Midwest. Does he bail and go with them, or does he stay with ASCS? That'll determine it.
I don't think he will. I think he's telling the truth on this. I think he's he's determined to go out and run a schedule that he wants to run.
If there was anything to it, I would say that you're probably right, Kirk.
Well, he's been through this. He's been down this road before. He just didn't jump off the turnip truck last night.
But
he knows he could. It's tempting to get drawn into a points battle. He's just not going to do it.
He hadn't won a race in 2 years,
right?
And he wins at Devil's Bowl. You don't think that winning doesn't feel good?
It feels good mentally, and it feels good in the bank account as well.
Right, and I'm just saying, never say never about the possibility of Wayne running the full Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour. I know what he says. I get it.
And you know Wayne Johnson.
I know Wayne Johnson. I know. Listen, it pays $50,000 to win that championship. Paid $40 last year, pays $50 this year. That nice. I remember when Wayne used to stick those big old checks in his pocket. He liked it.
Well, right now he's the points leader of the Lucas Oil ASCS, so there's that.
Right, for sure.
3 races in.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to visit with Justin Haley's crew chief at the Cup level. He's a good friend of the Racing Boys. He was the first time he ever crew chief for anybody was for me at Kansas Speedway in 2003. First race he ever crew chief for anybody, and he did such a great job. And he was also the crew chief for Clint Boyer when he ran second in my car down at Nashville Super Speedway. We are going to talk to Trent Owens about that and more when we come back right here on Track Talk. It's all brought to you by Lucas Oil Products, and it's all on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Track Talk. Next to your vehicle's engine, your transmission is the most important component of your car. If it's not properly maintained, your car may not shift properly. By adding Lucas Transmission Fix to your transmission, it cleans and lubricates sticking valves for proper shifting, renews worn bands to stop slipping, stops seal leaks, will not void new car warranties, contains no harmful solvents. Lucas Transmission Fix. It works.
Summer classes begin soon at Kansas City, Kansas Community College. Don't wait. Get started today. Kansas City, Kansas Community College is affordable, flexible, and offers class schedule options taught by experts. And additional grant funds are available. See if you qualify. Learn, lead, and achieve at KCKCC. Online at kckcc.edu or call 913-288-7600. See you soon.
X Golf is now open and is the premier indoor golf and entertainment experience in town. 7 state-of-the-art simulators are designed for golfers of any age and level. Lots of different games to choose from. Battle head-to-head in a match play format on the world's best virtual golfing simulators. X Golf also offers lessons with sophisticated swing analysis. They have a beautiful full-service bar and food options with many packages available. So book a tee time today at xgolfleewood.com, located at Town Center Shopping Center on the north side by Bravo. X Golf Leewood, bringing the world's best golf simulator experience to you.
Owning a business comes with pressure. There's a limit to what I can do and still keep employees engaged. Fortunately, there's Insperity. They put 30-plus years of HR experience to work to help me with hiring, training, HR administration, and compliance, while giving my employees competitive benefit options. And because I'm able to focus on other priorities, my employees can thrive and my business can grow. With Insperity, nothing seems impossible. Insperity, HR that makes a difference.
Kansas football is set to host the spring preview on April 9th at 1 p.m. inside David Booth Kansas Memorial Stadium, and admission is free for all. Come early to enjoy the KU Athletics Surplus Sale, Family Fun Zone, live music, and more. Don't forget, season tickets for the 2022-23 season are on sale now, including the brand new Touchdown Club area. Secure your seats now at kuathletics.com/tickets or by calling 800-34-HAWKS.
I need 4 more of the
60 seconds.
Nikas, 2 burnt end platters, 3.
The kitchen at Kai's Barbecue is firing on all cylinders.
Greg, help me bring these to the picnic counter.
He needs food runners who can hit the ground quickly.
86 on the chicken and we're short-staffed. Let's pick it up.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
It's Family Leisure's Factory Direct Hot Tub Sale.
30.
We have hot tubs coming in every week. No need to wait for months. Come get your dream hot tub today. Family Leisure also has pools in stock for spring installation. Don't go another summer without a pool for your family. Come in and see our huge selection of patio furniture. Family Leisure is your one-stop shop for pool tables, shuffleboard, bar stools, and home theater seating. All priced to go. Mention 810 and save more at Family Leisure in Olathe.
913-888-7727. Awesome!
Welcome back to Track Talk here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. I'm Scott. He's Kirk. We're the Racing Boys. Thanks for tuning in to the show. Got people all around the country visiting with us today. And don't forget about Mostly Motorsports, Monday through Friday, 12 noon Central Time. And Friday is Phone Fun Friday with Kirk and Austin and I. We don't really have guests on that day, and kind of Mondays is kind of that way too. We play a lot of victory lane interviews and kind of just shoot the bull. But Kirk, I had a chance to talk to Trent Owens.
Yeah, what a good guy he is. Trent Owens, I remember when he came on board with you to crew chief your ARCA car back in the day. That was really Trent's first
his very first
experience
race.
in that.
Yeah, it was.
And right now, he is at the Cup Series level. He's crew chief for Justin Haley for Kaulig Racing. They're going to be down at Circuit of the Americas this weekend. Cup cars out on the track today, and earlier this week, Scott had this conversation with Trent Owens. Here's just a portion of that conversation on Mostly Motorsports.
Job duties yourself compared to the old car when you had to build everything, make sure the bodies were right. How much is it different from years past to what we have now?
You know, it's hard this early to do a direct comparison, but I say now, knowing that the team beside you is going to show up with the same piece, it's all about the finest of details, right? You know, we have sim models in our computers where we can make setup changes, balance changes, do all that stuff before we ever get to the racetrack. Some drivers are able to do a lot of simulator time where we can make adjustments there. So I think it's a product of knowing your car, making sure every piece and part of that car is measured properly, is inputted in your computer properly, and you're getting the right information out of it. Because we don't have practice. In all reality, we don't have practice anymore. Those 15-minute sessions, it's a shakedown. It's not a practice session where you're able to change parts and stuff like that. So really, the race cars speed is made in the shop. And I think that's where the focus is right now, and it's much different than the past, because before we would build a car, we'd go to the track, get to work on it through practice sessions. We might come back the next week and change some things. We don't have that luxury now. We can't come back to the shop and just change our car all around. So we'll see how it develops as we run more, but at least from my seat, I really enjoy the car. I like the design of the car. I think there's a lot of things about it that was needed in our sport, and so far it looks like it's been putting on good races.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about Atlanta, man. I'm pretty proud of our racetrack that we have here in Kansas City. I've always thought it's been the best 1.5-mile track, but I'm not going to lie to you. I said it yesterday on the show. I think Atlanta is my new favorite 1.5-mile track. The racing that they put on there and how they narrowed up the track, put the banking in it, it made for some exciting racing last weekend, didn't it?
No, I think it did. I hope we don't do that every week. We'd never have parts. There's so much torque cars. But, to take our Daytona Talladega, what we call our Speedway package, apply that to a 1.5 track, I think we've been trying to test those waters for a while. And we finally put it all together. Now, my hopes is that we don't try to saturate and do all the 1.5 miles that way. I don't think every track can do that.
Right.
I think Atlanta can be of its own. Michigan may be a product of running that package, but outside of that, I'd like Kansas to stay like it is. I'd like Charlotte to stay like it is. But yeah, nonetheless, it was fun to watch, even from where I was sitting. It was fun to watch, even working in it. So
yeah, for sure.
All good.
All right, there is Trent Owens from earlier this week on Mostly Motorsports. You can hear the complete interviews up on our racingboys.com. Click the Mostly Motorsports link, and you can see all the podcasts, hear all those interviews in their entirety. One other conversation this week was with Seth Bergman, who won Saturday night's main event at Devil's Bowl Speedway last Saturday night, Lucas Oil ASCS. Challenging for the Lucas Oil ASCS Championship this year. And Scott had this conversation with Seth Bergman earlier this week. Here's just a portion of it right now.
Let's talk about Saturday night's race. I think you started on the pole, didn't you?
Yeah, I was in the right spot.
Right. Listen, You knew that track was rubbered up before you went out there, right? You could see that it had taken rubber. What was your goal? Just to make sure that you stayed in the rubber and didn't give anybody an opportunity to get around you. You got, Sam Haferteef, all the championships he's won, Tony Bruce Jr., which I was a little surprised, to be honest with you, that Tony Bruce doesn't run that much anymore. And he took the 12H car, and he had a podium finish with it. I was a little shocked by that, me personally, because he doesn't run full-time anymore. But you had some good guys behind you, Sam, Tony, Wayne, Scott Boguski. Just talk about your plan going into that race and knowing that it was all rubber.
Yeah, we could tell early on in the day with how the track was prepared and the sun and the wind that it was going to rubber up. It's just a matter of time. And
yeah.
Our game plan early in the night was we need to get in the top 6 redraw or whatever they do, the invert, so we have a chance, because at some point it's going to rubber, and track position is going to be key. So we did our jobs early and put ourselves in that draw, and it just worked out to where we were 4th in points, and they pulled a 4 to put us on the pole. But
nice.
I think you have less things to manage when you start on the pole of a rubber down racetrack, but everybody acts like it's just given to you at that point, but it's not. I mean, there's still a couple key things you have to pay attention to and to win the race. I mean, you got tire management when you have guys like Sam and Wayne and a few of those other guys around you, and Tony was up there. If you make one mistake or miss your mark or slip out of the rubber or do something silly or get tangled with a lap car because everybody's fighting for the bottom, you can lose that race in an instant. So,
right.
I knew I was in a really good position starting on the pole. It was the best place to be, obviously, and but there was still some things we had to manage. I knew I'd take care of tires. I wanted to take care of tires and not push hard. So if I felt like at the end I had to push a little harder, I had the tire to do it. It ended up working out, and I did. But I knew if I slipped up or if I messed up with a lap car or something like that Sam was going to be right there, and he was, and kept me honest and made me stay focused and hit the marks we had to hit and not miss the rubber and just do those things you got to do on a rubber down racetrack. And, it worked out. We were in the right spot and led all 20 laps, and now here we are getting ready for Little Rock.
Yeah. Do you think your tires, originally they were going to run 30 laps. They cut it down to 20. Do you think your tire would have made 30 laps?
It would have been extremely close. I know a lot of guys' tires wouldn't have made 30 laps. I would have been close. But look, I think he did the absolute right thing. In a situation like that,
no doubt,
you can't really take a risk. I mean, the track is gone. It's rubber down. It's chewing tires off all night. And I think as Terry in his position, the last thing you want to do is, put a race like that or put your racers at jeopardy of
3 minutes
in a position and blowing a tire or just having it turn into a mess, because you don't want to be running a Devil's Bowl or speeds like that and blow a tire going down the straightaway or something. It just tears things up, and it's not good. And I think he made the right call, and it was aired on the side of smart decision and safety. And he made the right call, because at the end of that race, we didn't have a lot of tire left. We had just a bit, and it was the right decision.
And when you say the right decision, I believe that originally it was the one tire rule, but they allowed everybody to put on another tire before the A main. Is that correct?
Yeah, he has. So the one tire rule in place, which I think is good. I think overall it's a good thing. But also, I like that there's areas in there in his rule that if we do have a situation that gets out of hand, and obviously tires are going to be an issue, that the racers and him can get together and discuss and kind of waive that for that night. And it was the right decision. I felt like all along. The tire rule was in place and did its job the first night, and then the track got abrasive the second night, and it was kind of obvious that what we all had on wasn't going to make it, so he allowed us to put something on that was going to make it and shorten the race. So Terry did a really good job as well.
All right, that's my conversation with Seth Bergman, who picked up the win down at Devil's Bowl last week. And
he finished 10th last night after starting 16th.
Yeah. Well, that doesn't mean much. I really believe that Seth Bergman, if he can continue to have decent luck along the way, not terrible. I think he had a motor change last night. If I'm not mistaken, he had to pull the motor out. And didn't he have to do that last week?
He did.
He had to change the motor at Devil's Bowl, too, didn't he?
Yes, but last week they
Turn your mic up a little bit.
last week he got to keep his starting spot.
This week he didn't.
He didn't. They made a post about it this week on Facebook.
Oh, they did?
So, yeah, I think somebody kind of, caught him in the act there.
They were kind of bitch. Well, you know what? He admitted that he changed the motor on this show.
Yeah.
Right.
And he's still second in points after 3 races. So
yeah. All right, don't forget, hour number 2 will be coming up. You can watch it on our Facebook page. You can watch it on Twitter. You can watch it on YouTube. You can watch it on racerboys.com. Listen, we got more sound. We're going to play an interview that I did with Trenton Berry from RacingDirt.com talking about what's going on down at Humboldt this weekend. Plus, we're going to talk to Dan Robinson about XR. They're doing the live broadcast out there at Bristol this weekend. So that and a lot more on Track Talk. It's all brought to you by Lucas Oil Products. It works. For Austin, Todd, my partner Kirk Elliott, I'm Scott Traylor saying thanks for joining us. We hope that you'll follow us over on hour number 2. It's Track Talk, brought to you by Lucas Oil Products. It works. We'll see you right around the corner.
Thanks, my man.
Hey, Kansas City, it's Jeff Briggs with Victory Chrysler Dodge Jeep.
Appreciate it. Have a good weekend.
Stuff, fellas.
Appreciate it, brother. Have a good weekend.
Y'all enjoy the rest of March Madness.
All right.
Start Something New sales event kicks off 2022, and interest rates remain close to all-time lows, plus trade values are bringing more than ever. It's a great time to buy. We know it's hard to find a replacement, but did you know if you custom order a new vehicle at Victory, you get to play best ball with the factory incentives?
Taking care of your car is a responsibility. It ensures the long life of your car and its expensive components. That's why Lucas Oil takes automotive protection so seriously. Lucas heavy-duty oil stabilizer bonds with motor oil to shield engines from heat and wear. So take pride in caring for your car and pass that pride and knowledge to the next generation for years of smooth, reliable driving on the long road ahead. Trust Lucas Oil. It works.
Rod End Supply is involved with a variety of motorsports as well as industrial applications with many different types of products. Since 1989, Rod End Supply has provided superior products priced competitively. Whether you're racing at the circle track or drag strip, rock climbing, or going off-road, Rod End Supply has an assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products to keep your equipment moving. Rod End Supply's experienced staff is ready and willing to help you with your needs. Their promise is to continue to provide a superior product with superior service so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn more, go to rodendsupply.com.
Sure, especially sportswear in-house. We do all of the screen printing, all the embroidery. We do some vinyl. The other add specialty items like your pens, magnets, notepads, calendars. You can actually buy that, build your business to make it larger. We have the largest screen printing process and the largest embroidery anywhere around in the area. We can do stuff all the way from your school clubs to sports teams, a professional look in the office. If you can imagine it, we can do it for you.
One of the main reasons for poor vehicle performance is a dirty fuel system. It can cause decreased fuel economy and actually do harm to your engine over time. By adding Lucas Fuel Treatment to your vehicle, it cleans and lubricates the entire fuel system. Pump, carburetors, fuel injectors, and valves as you drive. It also improves your vehicle's performance. It's a non-solvent product designed to protect both gasoline and diesel engines. Lucas Fuel Treatment. It works. There is less than 1/100th of an inch of motor oil protecting your car's engine. Friction and heat causes engine oil to experience thermal breakdown, weakening its ability to protect the engine and its parts. Lucas Heavy Duty Oil Stabilizer is specially formulated to resist thermal breakdown, protect vital engine parts, and extend the life of your engine. It also stops smoking, knocking, and oil consumption in worn engines. Lucas Heavy Duty Oil Stabilizer. Keep that engine alive.
Missouri's must play getaway. Osage National Golf Resort.
3 9-hole courses to choose from at the Lake of the Ozarks in the Osage River Valley. Stay and play packages in our first-class condos. A beautiful clubhouse complete with pro shop and exercise facilities. A large pool for relaxation and families. The Eagle View Sports Bar and Grill. Great wedding facilities. Go online and make your tee time today.
Race fans, the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum is open 7 days a week, year-round, for you to come in and check out all of the wonderful race cars on display in the museum. And our online store at sprintcarstuff.com is open 24 hours a day for you to check out everything that we have in stock for sprint car fans. Whether it's for a birthday, anniversary, or Christmas, sprintcarstuff.com has it all. That's at the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum in Knoxville.
Next to your vehicle's engine, your transmission is the most important component of your car. If it's not properly maintained, your car may not shift properly. By adding Lucas Transmission Fix to your transmission, it cleans and lubricates sticking valves for proper shifting, renews worn bands to stop slipping, stops seal leaks, will not void new car warranties, contains no harmful solvents. Lucas Transmission Fix. It works.
Hey, this is Larry the Cable Guy, and you're listening to Racing Boys, and if you ain't listening to them, you get out of the country because you're a communist. I love the Racing Boys. Like Mater says, they make me happier than a tornado in a trailer park. You know, the funny thing about that is the Larry voice and the Mater voice are exactly the same. Get her done!
Welcome to Hour 2 of Track Talk on the Racing Boys Broadcasting Network. Brought to you by Lucas Oil Products. Made in America, sold to the world. Here again are the Racing Boys, Scott Traylor and Kirk Elliott.
Welcome back. Hour number 2 of Track Talk here on RBN, the Racing Boys Broadcasting Network. I want to thank everybody that's followed us over from Sports Radio 810 WHB, hanging out with us here on the show. How you doing, Kirk? What'd you do during the commercial break? What did you do?
Just talking to the boys back here, just kind of chit-chatting.
What were you talking about?
Nothing.
He doesn't want to
nothing
say.
In particular.
Were you talking about women?
No.
Why not?
I don't know. We were just talking about
baseball. You don't want.
You know, here's what I was
Baseball.
talking about. I love this time of the year. Now, what it was I love this time of the year because it's like my two teams they lost last night. The suddenness of how everything ends. You know, just
losers.
I wake up this morning and I'm thinking, you know, it's all over. But I love this time of the year because it coincides with spring coming. Get the bad weather out of the way and get warmer weather coming on. It's kind of like flipping a page. I'm ready for the racing season to really get going now.
I think
I'm ready.
Kirk, if I'm not mistaken, I think I heard you talking about baseball.
I love baseball. I do. I know a lot of people who listen to this show say, I hate that stick and ball stuff, but
I'm not.
I love baseball.
I know you and Todd are great baseball fans.
I love baseball.
And I get it. Why, I know why Todd is part of it because his boy might be a professional baseball player someday. But
yeah.
But Kirk, you don't look like a professional baseball player to me.
No, I'm just a big fan.
Huge
fan.
Mm.
But you know, I like all sports.
You know me. I'll say this. I don't know about you, Austin. Maybe you're with me on this. Baseball moves too frickin' slow for me. I could fall asleep between pitches.
It's because you don't appreciate the game.
It's just not for everybody.
It's not for everybody.
I like it when people punch people in the mouth or knock people down.
You're a big football guy.
Hey, they have yachting on TV, so like I'm saying, there's something.
Oh my God,
everybody.
Yachting, golf.
I can watch golf.
Oh my God, I
can't wait for.
I can't watch. Can you watch golf?
Never watched a golf match. Never played golf either.
Do you care much to watch baseball?
I'll just say this: I don't watch TV, so
I know it. You watched TV for the first time in how long the other day?
A long time.
How long?
Well, actually, probably a year because.
A year?
What were you watching? What were you watching?
Austin, come on now. It can't be a year.
It was a long time.
It can't be a year.
Yeah.
What caused you to sit down and watch TV? What were you watching?
I can't imagine.
Formula One, Drive to Survive on Netflix.
So
I watch it once a year.
It was only motorsports.
Yep.
I couldn't imagine not watching TV.
He just doesn't.
I fill my time with TikTok and race cars.
You have no idea how much TV I watch.
TikTok is too freaking addictive.
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
Stay away from
the stupidest people are on TikTok.
Yeah, but people that are on live TikTok are the worst.
Oh man, you see some wild stuff
the
on
trolls.
There. There's some.
They just
terrible-
troll on there.
I tell you what. Yeah, it was bad. Before we get in there, man, what a terrible night last night being social media.
Oh my God,
I was
it was
on
terrible,
it before
man.
I went to bed last night. And,
Yeah.
man, you know, some of them are easier to take than others. I mean, I knew Eddie Van Halen was sick. We all knew he had been ill, but you know, this one here, man, it's tough. And,
If you haven't heard, the drummer of the Foo Fighters, Taylor Hawkins, has passed away.
Age 50. You know, he
50 years old. But I'm just going to say it. I think Taylor was living a little bit of a hard life.
Well, he overdosed in 2001.
He did?
Yeah, and hasn't really talked about his sobriety or anything other than, you know, he made it through all that.
You know what could happen, Todd? Really, when a guy puts his when he puts his body through all that pain and suffering and doing all those drugs back in those days, he might have wore his heart out back then.
That's the truth. They're also saying that they're thinking they don't. You know, there's a lot of speculation too, but there's a high altitude where he was at, and they're thinking he might have had a stroke last night with a blood clot or something. So he flew. They fly. Those guys fly a lot, and. You know how
they fly everywhere, don't they?
And he just flew right.
They're
into
not
this.
tour bus people anymore.
No. And when you go to Columbia, you're not going to be riding in; you're flying in. But
Right.
I got a little video here. Here's a little video of the Foo Fighters concert from. This is Taylor Hawkins singing Queen song.
Oh no, I've seen him do this. Yeah.
So I shot this video here. Such a sad loss.
All right, that's
just terrible, man. Just
the audio's not that good right there, but
there we go.
No, but he did a good job. He always sang that song every concert,
and he was a huge Van Halen fan. He's wearing Van Halen shorts right there. So
yeah.
Like I said, man, it's a rough one, man. You're seeing some people. I feel bad for Dave Grohl because Dave Grohl has lived through two major deaths now, and two of the most prolific bands around in his time.
Mm-hmm.
The singer for Nirvana dies on him. He starts another band, and now his rock and roll partner for the last 20 some years has passed away last night. So I feel bad for Dave because. That's and Taylor's family. It's just it's not fair, and one of those things.
You know, man. Listen, nobody's going to live forever, Todd.
Sir.
Unfortunately, we hate to say that, but it's true, right? Nobody's lived forever yet.
Kind of reminds me of I just immediately thought I'm a big George Strait fan. And when his drummer, Mike Kennedy, got killed in a car wreck outside of Nashville, Tennessee a few years ago, how devastated all us George Strait fans were about that. So all the Foo Fighter fans, I'm feeling for you this morning.
Hey, you just got called out, Austin. Did you see that?
No.
You got called out by Chad Kelly. Said, "Don't lie, Austin. You watched Netflix at my house last week."
Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that.
Forgot about that.
All right, so,
you forget people are listening to you talk right now.
Well, let me restate my statement there.
Restate the statement.
About a month ago was the first time in a year that I watched TV and Netflix.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll go with
it.
Hey, before we get too far, we talked about that video that we'd made for the... So you guys out there that want to subscribe to our page, we need you guys. It's important.
How do you do this?
So if you go to, we're looking at it here. If you guys are looking at it, if you're not watching your screen, flip your screen real quick. When you go to Racing Boys and you go to our homepage there, you're going to actually see our homepage right there. you need to make sure that this button right there that you see is
Subscribe.
subscribe.
Yeah.
There's a bell that you're going to see on the homepage. It won't pop up on this one because
Don't you have a demonstration
I do,
of that?
So I'm going to pull this video up that's going to actually show you guys what you need to do. And what this is going to allow you guys to do is every time you guys get we go live, anytime we go live, you're going to get a notification. And with that notification, you'll get that right there on your phone, just like you guys get all your notifications for any of your apps or anything that you're running. So click that bell. Make sure you do that.
Join, subscribe,
and that bell.
And click that bell right there.
When you see that bell, click. And you'll see that little bell. That'll have a number. That tells you right there. Hey, I've got a message. One of my people that I follow
is on there,
and there's your button right there. So there's a big yellow line arrow. Boom! You click that button, that bell, and that'll get you your reminders every time we go live.
Mm-hmm.
That's also important to do on our Mostly Motorsports on any of your Google. Any place you go to find the where you get your podcast, make sure you hit that subscribe and like button on there, because that helps us get up in the numbers. That way more people get to see us. We know the race fans get to see us. We'd like for everybody to be able to see not only this show, but Mostly Motorsports. So subscribe, and click that bell. We appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. Got to do it, man. Help us out as much as you can. And, it's crazy. Mostly Motorsports, out of all the states that we get, our number one state is California, isn't it, Austin?
It is.
Isn't that crazy? Why is California our number one state, I wonder?
Is it a time slot thing?
I don't know.
Possibly a time slot. I mean, you spent 13 years on the road with the national tour, and you guys do go through California, I think,
we went
11
out
of
there
those
quite a bit.
years. So,
yeah.
I mean, we got a pretty good following.
I guess. Maybe.
And it's early in California right now, too. So I guess
it would be 10 o'clock their time when we go live here Monday through Friday.
Mostly Motorsports would fit their schedule a little bit better, right?
Maybe. I don't know.
It might be the morning.
I would think that the people that work at lunch are listening to it during lunchtime.
That's what
we have a lot of people chime in on our Facebook chat, that watch the show during their lunch break.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of people say that, don't they, Austin?
I think what's going on with these podcasts, though, you get a lot of people that'll tune in and listen to what's going on.
Yeah.
And they're going to be like, man, that's the show tonight I got to go download that episode.
Right.
Because, a lot of, like you said, they might be at lunch, but they may only have 15 minutes left in that lunch break that they had.
So. Sometimes they might hear who's going to be on the show.
That's right.
And then just go back and listen to it later.
And that's what's important about this subscribe button.
Hey, I want to give a shout out to Kelly. She's listening from Oregon this morning. We always give our out-of-staters a little shout.
You had experience out in Oregon?
I've been to Oregon many a times. Yeah. I love the Pacific Northwest, man.
Great country.
I just love it up there.
Cottage Grove Speedway.
Cottage Grove, Willamette.
Drove to the
Skagit,
coast one day. Mountains one day.
Grays Harbor. All of that stuff up there, man. I love it all.
I've been to Oregon, but it's been a long time ago.
You ever been to Grays Harbor?
Never been to Grays Harbor.
You ever been to Skagit?
Never.
You ever been to
Saw it on your video.
Been to Cottage Grove?
Nope.
Willamette?
Nope.
Rockaway Beach. Ever been there, Kurt?
Maybe that's another thing on my bucket list. Got to get out there myself and check that out. You went out there for years.
Man, I miss
Follow
it too.
the ASCS races out there.
I'm not going to lie to you, Kirk. There is a very good possibility that I still might go out for Dirt Cup. I might just go out there and just watch a couple days of racing.
Steve Byler doesn't run the racetrack anymore.
That's all right. They'll let us in.
You like that place?
I love Skagit, man. I'm just kind of curious on what it's going to be like this year with just 410s.
Well, I'm concerned about the car count. What that's going to be.
Me too,
there.
for sure.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to put up a lot of money.
Right.
So that's going to draw a lot, but there's a reason why they went to 360 sprint cars out in the Pacific Northwest, the Dirt Cup, when they did.
Right.
Because car count was becoming a big problem. They got more 360s than they did 410s. But, the Rudines out there, they're 410 people, so they're going to do what they do. They're putting a lot of money back into that facility up there, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, for sure. Well, do we have Lee?
Working on it.
All right, okay.
We had Circuit of Americas going on this weekend. Yesterday, practices for the trucks and the Xfinity Series. Those two races are going to be held today. The trucks followed by the Xfinity Series. Cup cars will be on the track down at Circuit of the Americas with that race tomorrow.
Is that the best road course racetrack we have in the country?
I think so. It's got to be.
Like,
why does it have to be?
Well, Road America is pretty
if you
darn
speak
good.
on like the amenities and the infrastructure, then yes, because it's FIA graded. You know, it's suitable for Formula One cars.
Right.
But about the best racing, I don't know.
I like Road America. Road America to me is still the best road course
in
the country. I think.
Road America.
Yeah.
All right.
Kirk, I do have an update for our F1 race Sunday. They're supposed to be racing in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
But there's a chance that the race could get canceled.
Why?
So, about 5 miles east of the track, there's an oil plant called like Armaco. Well, it was attacked yesterday during practice. And there's a lot of the teams in the,
in Saudi Arabia?
Yes.
Yeah.
Attacked by who?
I don't know.
They're not sure yet.
Not sure a missile hit it. So you could see in free practice.
You didn't know that, Kurt?
A big cloud of smoke from the
Yeah.
plant. So the stakeholders and the teams are trying to meet with the FIA to see what the plans are for this weekend's race.
That ain't good.
They should cancel.
For the safety of the teams, they should, but I don't know. We'll see. See tomorrow.
A missile attack near the F1 race.
About 6 miles east of the track.
That's all too close. Yeah, that's too close.
Well, Max Verstappen was running practice, and he could smell the smoke inside his car. Yep.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So while they had practice going on, this occurred?
Yes.
Unbelievable.
Wow. Nuts.
Well, we'll see how it all goes. I'm guessing they call it off.
We'll see.
We'll find out.
You never know until you know. All right, let's bring in Lee Spencer. She joins us now on the show. Hey, Lee, how you doing?
I'm awake. How are you?
Well, I'm doing all right. Late night of watching video last night. I was a little disappointed with the flow video over there at ASCS. The camera took a dump on him there or something, and
more race on Texas than anything, probably, right?
Well, I don't know who it was.
Wow.
I don't know whose fault it was, Kirk. Why would you point blame at anybody?
They're the ones that produced the event.
Well,
right?
I don't know. They could have had a camera problem. They could have had a cord problem. Who knows? I'm not pointing fingers. Why would you do that?
Well, you said flow. I don't know.
Well, it's the same entity. It's the same thing. It's flow.
Anyway, they got the replay up there now. If you can go back, take a look at it.
Yeah.
It's posted up there.
Lee, how you doing? Where are you at today?
I'm in Illinois.
Oh, how's it going there? How's the new house?
I'm about 15 minutes from Gateway and about the same from Tri-City, maybe a little closer. But, yeah, I'm back in the Midwest.
Yeah,
back home in Illinois.
Now, are you officially moved back? Officially?
No, we still have our house in North Carolina. I mean, it just depends what time of the year it is, right? I mean, we'll be here for about a week, and to go back to your music, trying to mix music and motorsports. We went and saw Bob Weir play with the Wolf Brothers in Asheville on Thursday night. And then we came this way, and then a week from tomorrow, we're going to the Ryman to see Daryl Hall and Todd Rundgren play.
Oh, wow. That'd be really good.
At the Ryman Auditorium.
Have you ever seen Tab Benoit?
No.
You haven't? You need to see him. He's a Louisiana Cajun blues bayou guy. He is unbelievable. And you know what's so great about his show? When the opening act comes out and plays, he plays the drums for the opening act.
That's fabulous.
And then he comes out and plays his set as the lead guitar player and singer of his own band. It's incredible. He's done it for the last 3 times I've seen him. He comes out and plays the drums for the opening act. It's cool.
That would be so fun to watch.
Yeah.
That Ryman is a cool place, though.
You know, Kirk and I went and saw...
Oh, it's fabulous.
You know, Kirk and I went and saw Marcus King together. Did I tell you that?
I bet you guys had a good time.
Oh, it was good, wasn't it,
Yeah,
Kirk?
it was awesome.
Yeah. No, he's really good. I like him a lot, to be honest with you.
Oh, yeah, he's incredible. We saw him in Nashville, same venue, or at least in the same, it's a big building. We were in the auditorium there. They had it like wide open. They do a fundraiser every year for Habitat called Christmas Jam, and so he was one of the opening acts here, and Bobby Weir played that one too. So that was really cool. We had a big night. They really pull in the talent for that fundraiser, and it's if you guys ever get a chance to do that, I highly recommend it.
Have you ever been on the Blues Cruise?
I have not.
I am wanting to do that so bad. I'm dying to go on the Blues Cruise.
Somebody was telling me about that, and then they were also doing the Grateful Dead, or Dead and Company rather. They do the thing on the Mexican Riviera every year,
yeah.
and so a lot of people do that too. But Asheville is a great little venue. It's a smaller venue. It's more like a theater than these big auditoriums. And I'm just I'm trying to get away from the bigger bigger auditoriums and go to the smaller, intimate settings that have really good acoustics, because let's face it, the big auditoriums don't have the sound, and that's one of the first things that Reed remarked about when we were in Asheville was basically just how good the sound was in that place. And the smaller venues, they're set up for that. These super giant. I guess the last big venue we were at, and I could be wrong, Reed can correct me, but we saw the Eagles play with Vince Gill. And, in a situation like that, they're going to pull out, all the stops. I mean, Garth just added another date in Charlotte, so now he's playing 2 nights in Charlotte. And, I get that. The more the merrier, more people can see them, but certainly I've seen the Stones and the Who, and in those big venues, but there's nothing like going to a small, intimate concert in a place like Fox Theater, or one of the smaller just places that were built for sound.
Well, that's exactly.
Chicago Theater comes to mind too. If you ever get to Chicago Theater, that's a great venue.
Well, that place we saw Marcus King was built for that, right?
Right. Uptown Theater. But let me tell you something. My favorite place like that is Knuckleheads here in Kansas City. Yeah. It's the best. So, all right, let's.
Hey, before we go, what about that amphitheater right in the middle of Circuit of Americas down there? It looked like you could have a big concert in that amphitheater I see down there.
They have huge concerts there. I mean, I was so lucky because I think before any of the NASCAR guys ever got to COTA, I got to drive a production McLaren there. So I'm fairly familiar with the track, and I know the sensation of going up that first hill and that hairpin turn. And it is a badass place. And of course, Austin's also known for its music, which makes it phenomenal. But I mean, what a great place. I'm so glad they're going there. This is a much sexier venue than Texas Motor Speedway could ever hope to be. And I'm sure you saw some of the comments last week when IndyCar was there. And, IndyCar, that was a great show. I mean, I don't know if you guys watched that last week when Newgarden won, took the lead on the last lap, right at the start-finish line. It's just a phenomenal race. But, when you compare this to Texas Motor Speedway, it's apples and oranges, and it can't compare. And I'm really excited to see how this new car performs on a road course, because it has so many characteristics of cars that are purposely built for road courses. Took a lot of cues from IMSA, and so it's to see this, it's I think it's going to be fun.
I was going to get back to that amphitheater down there at Circuit of America. What events do they have in that thing? Looks like that seats a lot of people in that amphitheater.
Oh, they have huge. I mean, like, you know, I think like Beyonce. I mean, that, you know, those giant stadium shows. I mean, I think the Stones have played there. You know, but it's like, you know, huge, mega, you know, Lady Gaga. I mean, it's like the, you know, it's
festivals,
giant venue kind of deals.
Yeah. All right. So, RFK, they are going to appeal their L2 penalty. Do we know exactly what the infraction was? It's something at the back of the car. What were they doing back there, Lee? Do you know?
It's something in the back of the car, but everybody's really being sketchy with, or, you know, they're not being forthcoming since it's going to go to appeal. And NASCAR's not saying anything because they don't, you know, they're keeping it really low key because they don't want to, you know, kind of show their hand. RFK's, you know, same thing. I mean, I think why they're going hard and heavy after RFK is just the fact that if you guys remember at Daytona, you know, there was the bit with the wheels that Penske and RFK were involved with. So this is like, you know, we all sat there and oohed and ahed and wondered what, you know, what was going to become of that. And, you know, NASCAR kind of gave them a hall pass. Well, that's not the case right now. And so they're showing Brad on the broadcast right now with practice. So I'm not sure, you know, what's going on live there, but, you know, I think that, you know, until they really come forward, NASCAR comes forward with what precisely happened, then we're all kind of in the dark.
Do you feel that NASCAR feels like they're rubbing it in their face just a little bit right now?
You know, I'm not sure that's the case. I would venture to guess that, you know, from what I'm hearing on this was that they were working on, you know, that there was a piece that was damaged. They replaced the piece, but the piece is produced by a manufacturer that is exclusive to NASCAR, and so. If they would have, and Kyle Busch goes around in practice. If they had taken the piece to NASCAR and had it approved before it went on, it would have been okay. But because they just put it on and assumed it would be all right, it wasn't. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So the Cup car's out on the track right now. What's going on?
Kyle Busch was just posting the quickest lap, it appeared, but then he went around and
So
just completely lost it. Reed, do you know what turn that is?
12.
Yeah, going around 12, but it looked like he had gone to the top of the speed chart and then spun out. A.J. Allmendinger had been up at the top for a while, but, you know, now Kyle was out there and just looks like he lost me going into the turn. You can see his hands going ferocious in the cockpit. But wow, yeah.
It's going to be a whole lot better this year than last year when these cars were hydroplaning all over the place. So got much better weather.
It's dry, it's warm, it's going to be slick. Yeah, Kyle Busch posted the fastest lap, 2 minutes 12 seconds. And Allmendinger is second. Cole Custer, if you have a fantasy, Cole Custer might be a good long shot. He's doing double duty this weekend. So is Allmendinger. I'm writing a story on Allmendinger for today. So it's you know, just he's so good at these tracks. And then, you know, Cindric, of course, he grew up racing at venues like this, and I was absolutely shocked that, you know, Briscoe beat Cindric to win at Indianapolis Motor Speedway's Grand Prix circuit when it debuted there. But, you know, that's Briscoe's, you know, another sporty guy. And then Joey Hand, he's sixth on the speed chart. Joey's been working with all the Ford drivers. He was picked specifically by Edsel Ford to mentor these kids. And if you guys, oh, wow.
Larson and Elliott not doing so hot right now.
Wow.
Yeah,
Larson and Elliott not doing so
we were just talking
great.
about Joey Hand, and he just blew it right front. So
yeah,
not sure if that's a camber issue or it looks like the whole tire delaminated. Just destroyed the front end of that car. That's unfortunate for him.
Yeah, we're watching it now. We just turned on one of our TVs to it right now.
What's going on with Larson and Elliott?
I know Larson was over at the Flow headquarters before the
I
race
saw that.
this weekend.
Yeah.
So, as far as, are you referring to their pseudo feud
Yeah, I
from a couple
expect
weeks
them
back?
to have better times right now. So
Well, I don't think Rick Hendrick's going to put up with any nonsense from the two of them, and Jeff Gordon isn't because he went through that with Jimmy Johnson. So my guess is it's going to be, can't we all just get along and kick everyone's ass? I mean that. I think that's going to be the philosophy over at Hendrick Motorsports. We got a really good thing going here because we were talking a few minutes ago about Kyle Busch, fastest on the speed chart, right? The last time a Toyota won was Bubba Wallace at Talladega. So
I guess the question I'm asking is why aren't they up? I would expect those two guys to be running up front in this practice session.
Oh, I see where you're going.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it basically just started at 9:00, so
right. Who knows?
Maybe they're not showing their hands yet. Who knows? But Chase Elliott, you just kind of expect them to be up at the top of the board in these things, and so maybe they're just kind of feeling it out. I mean, I doubt that. I think when push comes to shove, they're going to be there, right?
Right.
I do think seeing all these Fords. I mean, the top 7 cars are Fords, right? And they have spent a lot of time in the last week. When we talked to Briscoe, on the teleconference, he and Joey Hand were in the simulator together. They were trading places in there, and I know a lot of the Ford drivers have been working with Joey. Joey started his own driving school when he was like 15 years old. I mean, who's thinking about establishing driving schools at 15, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
But he was just that good. And so many people came to him for advice. And now he's got a kid who's 15 who's racing, but that's how long he's been doing it. And so I think a lot of it right now is just technique, figuring it out. I have no doubt that the Hendrick cars will be up there eventually.
Yep. There was a lot of discussion this week, right? Who is the number one driver over at Hendrick Motorsports? Is it William Byron? Is it Chase Elliott? Is it Alex Bowman? Or is it our boy Larson? Who's the number one driver in their eyes in the Hendrick organization?
Well, I would think it would have to be Larson, just sheer numbers. And when you think about it, over the last 2 years, Bowman has the second most wins. So, even though Chase is the people's champ, as Steve Phelps referred to him, and NASCAR's most popular driver, there's a new sheriff in town, and I think his name's Kyle Larson, and everyone else. And I think this will be I would be really surprised if this isn't a breakthrough year for William Byron. And I know we said that last year, and he had, 10 consecutive top 10 finishes. I mean, It was like, it was just an amazing run of consistency for that kid. But he's only been able to score one win. And, certainly Larson took the lion's share of wins last year, right? And so he didn't leave a lot for his teammates, let alone the rest of the field. But Byron, this needs to be a breakout year for Byron, and I really think it will. He's had a year to work with Rudy again. Rudy's had time to acclimate to the Cup Series. They've got such a wealth of technology there and resources, and you think with Chad Canals kind of calling the shots, running the show over there, I don't think it was coincidence that Storehouse Racing took Mike Bugaravich and put him in a similar role to what Canals is doing, simply because they saw how it increased the the strength of that organization. Not like Hendrick needed it, but right, you put somebody with Chad's experience and his knowledge in that role, and I thought it was really smart for Stewart-Haas Racing to follow suit.
Right.
For many years, Jimmy Makar was that guy at Joe Gibbs Racing, but if you're not really in the trenches every week, and if you're not on the box, and you're not picking up all the different nuances that are going on, the sport kind of passes you by. And I think that's what happened at Joe Gibbs Racing. I mean, they've got, several good guys, and they've got TRD also, helping them. I mean, that's Toyota. Joe Gibbs Racing is, like truly the factory team where, you have other groups working together. The Ford teams, they work together. The Chevy teams, to a great extent, work together. But you don't have anything to the degree of being factory backed in the same way that Toyota does with Joe Gibbs Racing, and now with 2311. And those are 6 teams. You look at like Formula One, it would be like, Ferrari has its team and McLaren has its team. And, you think about, along those lines, they're doing that very much so with Toyota. And
Right.
so you expect them to have an edge. But to put Knaus in that position for Hendrick, just a huge, move for them last year. And like I said, SHR following suit, I think we've already started to see the improvements in that organization from making those moves.
All right, I got to talk to you. I know that the television ratings were off the chart. They have over 4 million viewers at Atlanta. Do you think other racetracks are starting to look at these 1.5 mile racetracks and is starting to think maybe we need to make a change on our racetracks, or do you think they're not thinking like that? What do you think?
I don't think they're thinking like that. I think that the competitors would lose their freaking minds if they built another super speedway like that. But I told you guys for weeks that was the one race I was looking forward to, and being down there, it was completely off the chart. You could not take your eyes off the action because you would miss something. It just happened that quickly, right? Just absolutely insane. And so, but why would you change Homestead? And if anything, they should take Homestead and make it the season finale again, because Phoenix, the only race this year where we have not had the stimulating action that you've had at the other tracks is Phoenix. Phoenix is a terrible race. If Briscoe doesn't, if the caution doesn't come out and Briscoe doesn't make it exciting, that it was such a stinker, nobody would go back to that racetrack.
Well, I never wanted to leave Homestead to begin with. I never wanted to leave Homestead to be. Homestead should have stayed as the season finale all along.
I don't get it. Homestead is perfectly fine the way it is. Charlotte Motor Speedway, they've got their niche because they've got a 600-mile race, and then they've got the Roval, right? I mean, you got to give SMI credit for a couple of things. They saw that there were no fans. I mean, that fans just really lost interest in the fall race because even though it's in the playoffs, it just, they got all they needed during the Coca-Cola 600. So they threw in the Roval. So the Roval, all of a sudden it's like phenomenal, right? I mean, because it's new, it's fresh, it's different. Like I said, Homestead, another track where it's like great. And, then SMI with Bristol, seeing that they're not really pulling people in for the spring race because, let's face it, the Bristol night race is all that in a bag of chips. So you put dirt on it, another, idea that just really got them going. The only place that they've really lost, their way, I would say, is Texas. And for whatever reason, even though that it is in a huge populated area, football is king in the fall in Texas, and it's really hard to pull people out. Don't understand why they, couldn't do it in the spring, other than, it rains a lot and the races had to move. I just, for some reason, that's like the one that I just don't get. And, you guys can speak a lot better as to the history of Kansas.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to tell you right now about Kansas, Lee. This is a huge thing that they moved that fall date to the middle of September. To me, that reinfuses energy into Kansas Speedway we haven't seen in years, moving that date back to mid-September. I expect a big crowd this September out of Kansas.
Yeah, that's always been the problem. It's too late in the year.
Up against the Chiefs, right?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, no
but
doubt.
I think that's a big deal, because having that race in late October out there. No, that just the weather always turns that time of the year, and people are not going to buy advance tickets for a late race in October. But getting that thing back into September, I think, pumps new life into Kansas Speedway. A huge thing.
Yeah,
I've got to say that Kansas, that fall date is one of the windiest, coldest. I mean, just brutally cold, right?
Yep.
And as I wrote in the column on Monday, they really, when you start talking about the intermediate tracks, and they were all the rage. I mean, you think about the stadiums that they built in the mid-'60s, right? The Reds Stadium looked like Busch Stadium, and it looked like Three Rivers Stadium. All these cookie-cutter types of stadiums, and then they started building new stadiums. And you think about all the intermediate tracks. Well, hell, they've shut down Chicagoland and Kentucky. I mean, it was just too much of the same thing. And while Chicagoland didn't have problems with the surface, other than the fact that it was in Joliet and a good hour outside of downtown Chicago, Kentucky had problems from the get-go. I mean, weepers. Every time we went there were weepers. I mean, it was just like, I don't know. It's just kind of crazy, but
I expect the biggest crowd we've had in years at Kansas Speedway in September.
You know what we need to do? Take those tracks like Chicagoland and Kentucky and just make them short tracks.
Well, I mean, they could do that. I mean, short tracks. I mean, I'll be interested to see. I'm hoping. I can't say I'm sure, but I'm really hoping that. When we get to Gateway, which is like a, virtually really close to Darlington, except for the surface isn't as worn out. I'll kind of look at Darlington and see what Darlington looks like, and kind of hope that whatever the best of what happens at Darlington happens at Gateway, because it's almost like a mini Darlington.
Yeah, for sure. Lee, what do you got coming up on Racing Boys?
I'm sorry, what?
What do you have coming up on Racing Boys?
Oh, I'm going to do a piece on A.J. Allmendinger. He's really coming to his own with Kaulig, and I think the reason why he just doesn't feel the pressure like he has in the past, they're just happy to let him be A.J., and I think that has really helped him flourish there.
Yeah.
Hey, one other thing. It looks like F1 is going to go ahead with that race at Saudi Arabia, despite that missile attack just miles from the racetrack.
Where have you heard they're going to go ahead and do the?
I just read here they're going to go ahead with qualifying today and practice.
I don't think
tomorrow. We were watching. Unfortunately, with our setup here, we don't have two TVs going, but we were watching practice there, and they all voted to go ahead with it. And I think they were quoting Lewis Hamilton as saying that, they can't be afraid, and, they need to go on with it. And there's, certainly enough unrest in the world right now, but, they just feel the need to continue. So
I don't think it's a good idea. I'm just saying, if a missile hit 6 miles from the facility, why would you go there? Why would you put
That's a really good question.
I'm just saying, why would you put everybody at danger? Why would you put all the fans, all the teams, all the drivers, everybody that's involved with the organization? Why would you put them at risk? Stupid.
It was an oil depot that they struck, I guess.
I'm just telling you, it's stupid. 6 miles from the racetrack.
That's right.
Yeah.
You got the money, honey. I got the time.
It went on right during the practice.
Sell your soul to the devil.
They said that they said they could see the the cloud of smoke over the racetrack.
It happened during practice, didn't it?
Look, we've got video of it. You can see the racetrack, and you can see the smoke from the racetrack.
It happened right during practice.
Stupid. All right. I'll try to back down my opinion a little bit.
We'll
here.
be watching.
All right.
I don't do that because then the world will stop on its axis.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Then maybe I won't. Then. Okay.
Did you? Yeah. What? How about that outlaw race last night where Sheldon Hodenshield got turned up in the wall and took out the top three?
Was that crazy? The top three getting taken out and leading that race?
Isn't that why we watch?
Yes.
You never know.
Like Gio said.
Just never know.
Like Gio said, he'd rather be lucky than good anytime.
Hey, lucky wins races.
Right.
Hey, one other question.
That Corey Day, though, how about him, man? That kid is a shoe, isn't he?
He is, and I'm still waiting for the Buddy Kofoid announcement. It should be coming up, but that's going to be one other thing to put in your must-see TV for Bristol.
He outran Christopher Bell last night. So, does Christopher Bell go back to I-44 Riverside tonight after today's practice, or does he just race last night and call it a day?
Last night, clearly, but he's ninth in practice right now. He's another long shot. I mean, I'm not going to pick him to win this race, but I really think that he's somebody that, if you were betting, and everybody's going to have him in their fantasy league for Bristol, he's a good choice here at COTA.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Lee. Well, we appreciate you taking the time to join us. We'll talk to you on Monday after the race. I'm anxious to see what your opinions are going to be about it. We'll talk to you then, okay?
All right, guys. Enjoy your weekend.
All right, you Thanks, too, Lee. All right, there you have it, Lee Spencer. And now we want to get into our final two sound bites of the day. I had a chance to visit with Trenton Berry from RacingDirt.com. Big race going on down at King of America down at Humboldt Speedway this weekend, and we thought we'd talk to Trenton Berry about everything that's USMTS and what's going on down at Humboldt, and this is my conversation with Trenton Berry. This is, where would you rank this race here, Trenton, when it comes to, out of all the races that USMTS runs, this is a $200,000 purse this weekend, pays $15,000 to win. Kind of give me an idea where this race ranks amongst all the other USMTS races.
Yeah, this one's number 2. It's right behind the Fall Jamboree for sure. Staying power is so much of what really takes a race and really kind of grows it to that next level, and that's what they've shown here at this racetrack and this event to be able to do. So, it's second to the Fall Jamboree for sure, second biggest event of the year. Yeah. And man, really, you've done this long enough. This race is at the optimum time of the year as well. So that makes it a little extra special.
Yeah, no doubt. There's a new regime down there at Humboldt this year. Johnny Allen has kind of taken over as the managing partner down there and one of the ownership people. Talk about the Whitworth getting out and the transition with the new people coming in.
Yeah, JR and Katie Sartain that own 81 over in Wichita are involved heavily there at Humboldt as well. Mm-hmm. You know what? They've shown to be pretty good for the racing business. I would say they've done some good stuff over at 81 and really made that a great place to go. And Humboldt was already a great place to go, so I'm sure they will take and even grow on that as well. Biggest challenge for Humboldt Speedway is weekly car count. You know the area well. There's not just a ton of weekly race cars around. So how do you get more? You've either got to cultivate new racers, or you have to pull on them from other areas. So that will be the biggest challenge going forward with the new regime here, is to figure out what to do to pick up the pace for the weekly program at Humboldt Speedway for sure. It's a gorgeous dynamite facility, man. If this thing was any closer to any sort of population center, it would really be wild what the thing could do. And has done very well, even given its fairly remote location. But
right,
that'll be a challenge that's unique to Humboldt. That they you pretty much at Wichita, Kansas, you just open the gates and you're going to get X number of racers. That place is just ripe with quantity and quality racers, and that's going to be a little bit different. A couple hours east of there. So
right.
But I'm looking forward to see what they can do. It's one of my most favorite racetracks ever. It's just one of the best places I've ever been to watch a race. I love the place. It's been so special to us for a company too, and I've seen a ton of good races there over the years.
Right. All right, that was Trenton Berry from RacingDirt.com. You can watch the King of America on Racing Dirt today. They start about 4 o'clock, right, Kurt?
Yeah, they're going to finish up those two feature events that they didn't get in last night to start off the show, and then one big program for the King of America. $15,000 to the King of America winner.
Yeah.
$10,000 going to the Battle of the Bull Rings B-Mod winner.
$200,000 purse this weekend down at King of America. You can watch it all on RacingDirt.com. Guys do a great job over there with their broadcast.
Stock car feature gets $1,000.
Do we see somebody do double duty and pick up $25,000?
What do you mean?
Run a B-Mod modified and win both.
Is anybody
if
doing
you win
that?
both, you can do that. You can pick up an extra $25,000.
No, you just win 25 total for that weekend.
If you double up.
Oh, I got.
I'm not sure anybody's doing both.
Not sure.
I don't know.
Terry Schultz is driving a B-Mod now. Did you see that?
He's been driving a B-Mod for a couple of years now.
Why is he doing that?
We stepped down.
I know why. Because the A-Mods are too expensive.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah, you're right.
Wait till you get in. Yours is an A-Mod, though, right? A B-Mod?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You don't.
He's a sprint car
You
driver.
have no
I got a
idea.
sprint car. That's all I got.
Oh, okay. All right.
No more
Throw me
more
down.
modifieds, right, Austin?
You won't. No, we're not.
You're all about
we're staying with
sprint
sprint cars.
You're going to just stay with sprint cars?
Yep.
All right.
You're all in.
So it's all done now.
All sprint cars.
All right. All sprint cars all the time for him. All right. Well, also, a good friend of ours, Kirk and I have known Dan Robinson for a long time. He was down at Lucas Oil Speedway as the general manager there. He's worked for Lucas Oil Products for years and years and years. Well, he's taken on a new job over at RacerXR.com. They're a streaming company, and they're doing the races this weekend out at Bristol. And they're doing all the dirt races at Bristol. And again, you can watch whatever you want out there at Bristol at RacerXR.com. And this is my discussion with Dan Robinson about what's going on out at Bristol this weekend. Dan, tell everybody about your new gig. And, everybody knows that you're with Lucas Oil for so long, so many years, but now you're with XR. Tell us about that organization and kind of the backstory of that place.
Well, XR has long been a streaming property, and they have done a lot of big races. Even back in the day, they did East Bay and did some Lucas Oil late model stuff for at the time, and have done IMCA races. They've done a lot of streaming things over the years, and as they streamed the Duel in the Desert, they became the promoter of that event a couple years ago, and through their relationship with Speedway Motorsports, they have become more ingrained with them and moved on to do the Bristol event last year and did some races at Texas last year. And just all went really well. So this year they decided to go all in and have more races, not only at those properties, but we added Charlotte and then some other events like Stewart, Iowa, Belleville High Banks, and even Superior, Wisconsin, All-Tech Raceway. And as I got into the event business, the super late model was really important to Barry. And so Barry Braun is the owner of the company, and him and his team started the XR Super Series, which is a supplemental series paying, pretty high dollar races across the country.
Yep.
And our first one of those events is this Friday night.
Man, oh man! I was in this business for a long time, and I talked to you a little bit earlier today. It was time for Racing Boys to get out of this business. We started it a long time ago, and we're a small company, but the streaming industry is really getting competitive nowadays, isn't it, Dan?
Yeah, it really is, and because there's so much streaming and so many relationships built with different properties, it's not like an XR can at this point go stream a Lucas Oil late model race or a World of Outlaws race. They have, their own properties in place that handle that. So Barry decided to start with his team, the XR Super Series, and do more of his own events. And as his company grew from last year in January, he had 4 employees, and this year he has, he's up to 15. I'm number 15. So we really needed somebody to lead the operation and the event side. And my background just fit perfect with what he was looking for and what I was looking for. So it's been just a great match so far.
Yeah. Well, who would have ever thought you were – I mean, obviously you had experience because of your involvement with Lucas Oil Productions and their background and everything. What do you think the future is of streaming? Do you I got to ask you this question. Some people think it's not good for the sport. Some people think it's good for the sport. What's your opinion on it?
Well, I think if it's utilized correctly, it is, there's 2 ways to look at it. It can hurt the sport if it's not done right and done well. I mean, obviously the use of the streaming is an important element to bring people to the racetrack, to bring a racetrack like Bristol Motor Speedway to life, to people that might not otherwise be able to travel to it, and looking into the future, the next year, they're like, man, that was so cool on watching on the stream. I want to go there next year. And, if we can build a fan base and do it right, it has a great advantage.
I think that
some of the other streaming companies or different people, if they're not going the extra mile and doing it well and doing it right, they don't promote the sport in a way that brings people to the track, and ultimately that can hurt the promoter. But we see it, for us, we're doing both ends of it. We're doing the streaming side of it, and we're putting on the event. So we have an extreme vested interest for both sides of our programs to do well.
Yeah. Well, there you have it, Dan Robinson, talking about what's going on out at Bristol this weekend. I'll be watching a little bit tonight. How about you, Kurt?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. What time's that all?
Well, yeah, because you don't have any basketball to watch.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't have a subscription to the...
All of his teams are losers.
I don't have a subscription to the... What's the video entity that carries that?
Race XR. We have one.
We do have one.
Can 2 of you log in at the same time?
Oh, I don't know.
Find out.
I probably can't watch the same time you are.
Racer XR. Right? Racer XR.
Just race.
Race
XR.
Okay.
I've got the subscriptions to Flow, Dirt Vision, and Race and Dirt. That's what I got.
Mm-hmm.
And Mav TV Plus. I've got that too.
It was funny last night. I was trying to tune in to I-44 to watch the Power Eye stuff. And the races must have got over early last night. Did you notice that?
You know what? The midget and the outlaw wing feature were over by like 10 o'clock. 9:30,
yeah, because
10
when
o'clock.
I went there to try to connect, it was reprocessing and said this event is already concluded, and they were reprocessing so you could watch it again.
Huh. Yeah.
Yeah, I checked Race
weird.
Pass, early last night, and I did see that it was over, pretty early.
Yeah.
The only when I tuned in last night after the ball games, right in time for the World of Outlaws A main. Then I flipped over to Humboldt to see what was going on there, caught the tail end of that. And then I switched over to Little Rock to see the Lucas Oil A main, thinking I'd go watch the replay of that. And it hadn't even happened yet. And you said it happened way after midnight. I got tired and went to bed. So
I think this is it Kenny I'm talking to? Yeah, Kenny, we can do that. He said, can we talk about streaming from a fan's perspective one time on Mostly Motorsports? Absolutely. Anytime you want to call in on the show, the callers will always come first, right? So even if it's any day, Monday through Friday, if you want to call in, we'll put the phone number up. And if you want to call in and you want to talk about streaming, we'll talk about it. But I'm going to tell you this, and I'm going to be as sincere as I possibly can be. I'm glad I'm not doing it.
Me too.
Kirk more so than me, because Kirk had to sit back here.
Yeah,
But listen, traveling up and down the road, doing what we did, Kirk wasn't the traveler. Kirk was the guy back here in the studio paying attention.
You did all the work.
But traveling up and down the road, doing those broadcasts, is mentally taxing on me personally. It's so funny. When I started this job, traveling up and down the road with the Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour, I didn't have any gray hair. None. 13 years later, I'm completely white-headed.
Yeah,
why is that?
It's stress.
A lot of stress, man. I'm telling you, beating up and down the road, living like a gypsy, doing what we're doing. And, and I feel like Kirk and I really got out at the right time, because now you look at the price of fuel. I looked up motel rooms down in Austin because I thought about going down there and watching that race. Motel rooms down there in Austin right now, if you want to get a Marriott motel room, $400, $500, $600, $700, $800 a night.
Oh man, the fuel bill and the hotel
throwing the fuel bill on top of that.
God.
Oh my gosh!
Hey, we blew through enough money last year to know what that's all about. So
well, and I totally get where you're coming from too. It's so expensive to stream; it's hard to follow where everything is being played, and I can't get all of those places. Listen, it is a little bit unfair to the fans, but what you're starting to see is a lot of these companies come down on their prices, right? I think Flow has set the bar when they did the $150 thing. We did that last year.
Yeah, I mean, really, it's as good for the fan as it's ever been in the streaming business, because you can purchase a fee for a whole month.
Hold on, as long as you can afford it.
Yeah, but before you couldn't afford it. I mean, you had before this business model, you had to purchase each event separately, and that really added up, and that was very costly.
You can
for
buy
the
the yearly program now.
Right.
If you have the money to spend, like $150 on Flow, I think it costs $199 for Race and Dirt.
Right. But it's a great deal because of the content you get.
The two that I want to make sure that I have, absolutely have to have, is going to be Flow,
right,
and Dirt Vision.
Absolutely, those are the two big ones right there. And it's a great business model for the race fan. Not so great for racing boys and the little guys, because we couldn't deliver the content.
Well, listen,
we couldn't deliver the amount of races for the value that somebody put up.
We were doing this stuff long before Flow ever thought about doing it. Dirt Vision ever thought. Well, they were doing audio back then.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, we were doing it long before most people were doing it.
Sure.
And the thing about it is, and let me be frank, to be really brutally honest with you, Kirk and I sold the rights to the Chili Bowl to Flow. And we were going to take all of the money that we made off of Flow and spend it beating up and down the road trying to do these broadcasts. Kirk and I are up there in years. How old are you, Kirk? 65?
60, be 66 in May.
Kirk's 65. I'm 62. And we're just at the stage of our lives where we're ready to pump the brakes. This is what I want to do. I want to do talk radio.
But here's the thing with the Chili Bowl. We had to charge $125 for just that week. And maybe $30 a night.
Oh, we made money.
But we had to do it that way in order for us to make that work. Nowadays, Flow, they can charge $150 for the whole year, plus get all the other events that you get. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a much better deal for the race fan, but Flow could make that work. Racing boys.
You're so adamant with your hands, Kurt.
Racing boys, not so much.
His hands are everywhere. Sometimes I think you're getting ready to fly.
Yeah. But I think people understand the point that the Flow and the Dirt Vision are really making it very good for the race fan. For what you spend and what you get, it is really a great deal.
Well, and I'm with Kenny. He said, but $150 times all the channels, yikes. No, I get it, man.
Yeah.
No, I get it.
But before,
the two that you want to make sure that you have is Flow and Dirt Vision.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, those are the two big ones.
That's all I have.
That's all you've got?
We have a couple others, but
now
that we use all the time.
Well, me personally, I kind of like to watch the Power Eye stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And USAC.
That you get Mad TV Plus for that. and racing dirt. Those are the ones that I have. And I feel like I'm getting it all. And what better location than right here in this studio to have all these TVs going down here on a Friday and Saturday night.
I'm going to hook that TV up, that monitor right there.
Right.
I'm going to hook it up to one of them, too.
Yeah. That'll be...
That way I can have... what I do is I turn them all on, and then I just flip around to different broadcasts.
Now, we say all this. I still think it's better to be at the racetrack. Racing does not do justice on TV. In order to really enjoy the sport of auto
You gotta
racing,
be there in
to
person.
me, being there is always better than watching it on video or TV, because you get the... Racing gives you the senses. It touches every sense in your body.
Mm-hmm.
Sight, smell, sound, all of that. And you can't pick that up on video. Always better to be at the racetrack, in my opinion.
No doubt about it. Yeah, for sure. All right, well, I want to thank everybody for tuning in on the show today. Don't forget, Mostly Motorsports, Monday through Friday, 12 noon Central Time. We do it right here from this studio. It's me and Austin and whoever wants to call in. So anytime that you'd like to call in, just do so. We'll always have the phone number up there. We'll always take the callers first. In fact, when we have guests on, if you were to call in, maybe we would allow you to ask our guest on the phone a question, if you feel free to do so.
Fridays are always fun because we talk other things. I'm here.
Well, we talk about everything all the time.
All the time. But I come in on Fridays to try to...
You're the Friday guy.
I'm a Friday guy and try to get, shake it up a little bit.
Shake it up a little bit.
So when does Zach start playing? When is his first game?
Well, he rained out on his Thursday, so his first game's on his birthday coming up this Thursday. He has a doubleheader on his birthday.
This Thursday's his birthday?
Yeah, yes, sir. 16. So
wow,
be a big birthday for him as well. So yeah, first game doubleheader, and then another. Or Tuesday is his first game. Sorry, doubleheader, and then Thursday's his birthday, and another game at home on Thursday. So
Austin, check that out.
Any word on your motor, bud?
Not yet. We'll know Monday.
Monday?
Should know Monday.
If you need me to run down there and pick it up for you, just let me know.
You think the Equinox can haul it?
Oh yeah.
Deal.
For sure.
Is your Equinox big enough to haul an engine?
Oh, for sure. Just
stick
it in the back.
Just
Hopefully it doesn't fall over.
It's on it's in a crate, right?
Yeah, it's on a stand, so it won't fall over.
Oh, okay,
You got
good.
to put the seats down in the back seat.
It even comes with an engine cover on it, so it won't even get dirty.
I used to take my SB2s from my ARCA motors in my minivan back and forth.
I want to get
Remember that, Kurt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to buy like a Transit. Sell T-shirts out of it. We have new shirts coming out, and then be a shop truck.
Well, you know what it could be? It could be a T-shirt van, Racing Boys van, and maybe.
How's this sound? We have your one-stop shop for my racing shirts and Racing Boys.
I like that.
Across the Midwest.
Yeah, I like that.
Now you're supposed to be, if you get this engine, you're supposed to be racing next Saturday night at 81. Is
this
that
coming
correct?
Saturday, the 2nd, 81 Speedway.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not sure you're going to make it, but
if not, next week at Burlington, Iowa.
That's where you're going to go next weekend?
That's the plan.
Todd, stand by. You might have to come in here and fill in. When do you got is that a 2-day show at Burlington?
I'll be here Friday, but I'll leave Saturday morning.
34 Raceway?
Yep.
All right. Okay, well, there you have it. Austin O'Neill might make it to 81 Speedway. If not, he'll be headed up north. Me personally, I don't think he's. I don't know why he would go to 81.
It's not like what it used to be.
Rip them tires off.
It's gotten better. You got to give it to them. They've done a better job.
That
now.
race they had, the ASCS race they had last July down there as part of the Speed Week was a hell of a race.
Had a half-foot tall curve on it.
Had Ryan Timms and you had Blake Hahn and J.J. Hickle battling it out down there. I thought that was a hell of a race.
That last race that Blake Hahn won there for $15,000, that was all rubbered up.
Yeah, well, that was a couple years ago.
Yeah, it was a couple years ago. All right. Well, that is it for us, folks. I want to thank Todd and Austin, my partner Kirk Elliott, for hanging out with me here every Saturday morning for the last 23 years. We'll be doing it all over again starting Monday, 12 noon Central Time, Mostly Motorsports, Both shows are brought to you by Lucas Oil Products. It works. Again, for Austin, Todd, Kirk, I'm Scott. We'll see you Monday, 12 noon Central Time on Mostly Motorsports.